We are here in the St. Paul's Hospital Overdose Prevention Site. It's the first overdose prevention site in any acute care hospital in Canada. So we are located in Vancouver, close to the downtown east side. We see a lot of ambulance traffic and overdoses from the downtown east side. We serve that population, and we always strive to connect them with evidence-based therapy or anything we can do to separate them from the toxic drug supply. What we know is that when patients are admitted to hospital, it's not necessarily a time that they might be seeking to engage in abstinence. It's a period of increased stress and or pain, and so we recognize that patients may continue to use non-prescribed substances while they're admitted to our care. So there was an overdose prevention site in the parking lot that moved to a new location, and a bunch of our patients accessed that site, and so we saw an immediate need to open up something in the hospital for patients for supervised consumption, recognizing that patients might not stop using while they're here, but it connects them with us, engages them in services, and we are able to supervise them and respond to overdose if needed, and just connect them with care. So we've seen over 2,300 visits to the site, and so our site is open to inpatients and outpatients, including the emergency department. And we reversed 90 overdoses, so that's 90 lives saved. And we've also seen over 1,300 patients just come here to pick up sterile supplies to use for smoking or inhalation. And so sterile supplies, we can reduce, bloodborne infections, and as such, and patients can take those supplies and use them off-site. So we're seeing quite an average of 10 visits per day. We have peers engaged with our addiction medicine consult team who are heavily involved. So one of our peers, Karen, she helps escort patients to and from the site, which kind of introduces them to the site. It's safe to be here, and she kind of shares her own experiences. She's an ally, she's been in this place before, and so she can kind of facilitate patients accessing the site, whether that means bringing them down physically or just kind of talking to them about it on the wards and making it seem like a place that's safe for patients.
So for me, I was, a lot of my background is a lot of trauma, of course, and that's where people pick up the addiction problem, right? Not being able to discuss and talk and work through our feelings with the trauma, so that's what led me to my addiction. And it got so bad, like I got clean first time around almost 4 years and then relapsed because something happened that brought back my past. And that's why this time around when I got clean and sober, I knew I had to work on my trauma if I wanted to stay clean and sober. So that's what I've done this time around, and it's just given me a better outlook in general on how I can help others. It's great to have a place like this for people that are using, but just because there's places for them to be safely using is not something that's going to push them into wanting to get clean and sober. Right, that's a personal decision for everybody.
Like you said, you're right? Tired of it.
It's great that people can practice safe using.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know safe areas to inject, so there's a lot of that, right? Like safer injection, right? Safer vein care, things like that. I think it's really good. I'm sure that when it first opened, it was a little bit slow because you're an inpatient, you have addiction problems to start with, and then you're coming to a place where you think you might get judged by people that work there, right, which is not the case. When I used to work down at the Rapid Access Addiction Clinic, I would see people out in the back parking lot and using drugs with their friends, and you feel a little isolated when you're in the hospital and you want to socialize, so you end up leaving the hospital. And also because you got that fear of, I can't go back because I've used drugs, right? And they're not going to accept me back. But that's not the case. First time it was, but I've reversed over 100 overdoses. And, I've even done one where I've had no naloxone and just had to give breaths to somebody and chest compressions. And it's like really scary because there's nobody there to help. And you end up getting exhausted, right? And you're just praying that that person's going to make it. And there was a good outcome, and the ambulance arrived in time, so.